Let's speak to James Jackson, who is a freelance journalist and host of Mad in Germany podcast, who is in Berlin. James, thanks very much for sparing the time to talk to us. How surprised were you by these comments, especially given Berlin's reputation worldwide as one of the most tolerant cities?
I wasn't surprised by this statement because this is a narrative that the police and certain right-wing politicians have been pushing for a long time, and that's something which has been picked up since October 7th attack on Israel last year. Berlin has been a bit of a flashpoint between pro-Palestine protesters and the Berlin police. There's been a lot of, cases of police violence and, of course, attacks against the police by protesters as well. A lot of the time, that seems to be what Ms. Slovik is talking about, even though she's talking about anti-Semitic attacks. What she actually says is that the majority of anti-Semitic attacks have been against the Berlin police. And she didn't mean Jewish police officers. She means that attacks against the Berlin police are at demonstrations are anti-Semitic. So I think there is some really creative use of statistics there, to be honest. Berlin has seen an uptick, a rise in anti-Semitism, particularly when it comes to online postings. Now, the Berlin police also count the pro-Palestinian slogan "From the river to the sea" as anti-Semitic, whereas the courts have not decided at the federal level if that's the case yet. So I think this is kind of a political question. I was looking into Ms. Slovik and I was quite surprised to find out she's never served as a police officer. So she was actually working for the Interior Ministry in Germany, and she's pushing a narrative which I'm not sure has that much relation to facts on the ground. She says she doesn't want to defame any group, and then she says in the same sentence that Arab majority neighborhoods are, wide supporters of terrorism. Yeah. That seems quite defamatory to me. I mean, I agree with I agree with both of them. But the first one said it's very polarizing to hear that from a senior government official. How are Arabic members of the German Berlin community supposed to feel represented by the police after that? And of course, Jewish students and their worries should be listened to. One thing that the police president said is that thankfully the actual attacks on Jewish people are low. But does it actually help any Jewish people if attacks or, resistance against the German police are counted as anti-Semitic attacks? Or does it then water down these statistics? And I think it's the latter, actually. I think that's common sense.
James Jackson, interesting to get your thoughts. Thanks very much indeed. Yes, there was reports that anti-Semitism in Germany, reports of that have doubled in 2023 compared to previous years. But it is obviously a very complex topic, and that is something that's being discussed not just in Berlin, but in plenty of European capitals. You are listening to OS here on the BBC World.